Hi guys and Namaste, Jai Hind, Jai Mata Di, Jai Bharat. Welcome to the video again. We are going to talk about Kalki and we are going to decode Kalki Puran. So till now we have spoken about a lot of things about Kalki, where he's born, the Kalpurush, the Kalpurush, the energy of Kali, the energy of his siblings and parents and family, and what those things really mean, in-depth meanings of that, right? So the Kalki Puran, there is nothing that is literal. There is a lot that has in-depth meaning. So today we are going to talk about the study of Kalki. Where will Kalki study and how will Kalki study and what will Kalki know, and this will help you recognize Kalki even better. So it is said that Kalki will actually live in a Gurukul of Parshurama and on Mount Mahendra. So when you talk about Kalki living in Gurukul of Parshurama in Mount Mahendra, there is a deeper meaning to that, because right now if you think about being Parshurama being here, it is not for real. There is no Gurukul of Parshurama in India or in anywhere in the world as such for at this point in time. Second, even if we talk about that place which is a hidden place and where all the gods who are still alive are there, nobody has access to that. So Kalki in the physical being will not have immediate access to that. So it does not mean that he's literally going to be studying through Parshurama or in the Gurukul of Parshurama, but this has a very, very deep meaning. What is the meaning? So meaning is, when you talk about Parshurama, you talk about a person who has a still energy, who has a very strong energy, who has a very energy of stop, like it is a very standstill energy, and that standstill energy has a X, like a mystic weapon. So it is an energy of mystical, it is a mystical energy. When you talk about Parshurama, it is the energy which is mystical and which is still, which is here, which is mystical, which is present, but no, everybody can't access that. Second, when you talk about Mount Mahendra, and when you talk about a mountain in itself, mountain is the higher place. So I feel that Kalki will be studying or learning things which are going to be a place higher than his birthplace. So wherever Kalki is literally born, he will be going for study in a place which is higher than his literal birthplace, because we are talking about a mountain. And when you talk about Mahindra means God, Indra, the god of the gods, the god who is actually the king of all the gods. So we are talking about another avatar of Vishnu, and we're talking about King Indra. And when we talk about God of gods, or when we talk about Indradev, or when we talk about the King of gods, what we're talking about is that he will be, most of his learnings will come from divine, or from his inside, or from his own efforts. It is the mystical learning that will come in from inside him, then outside. So yes, he will learn certain things, he will study, and all of that will happen, but most of his abilities will kind of, and as Kalki especially, most of his abilities will rise from that mystical energy that he will carry within himself, and from the mystical energy that people around him will carry. That's where his learnings will be. Now it is said that Kalki will be mastering 64 arts. So Kalki will be a master of 64 kalas, which means 64 arts. Now what are these 64 arts? Now I'm not going to read all the arts, but as per Kalki Puran and as per the Wikipedia and whatever is available about these 64 arts, this is how the list starts. And I'm going to not read the whole list of 64. It is available on Google, you can read it, but I'm going to read some major parts of it, because it is in Sanskrit and it is actually converted or translated in English. There is an essence which is lost for some of it, and I would really want to get deeper in some of these as to what they exactly mean, but some that I can understand, I'm going to share with you. So first is singing, second is playing musical instruments, third is dancing, fourth is theaters, then there is painting, then there is coloring, then there is cooking, then there is cleansing, then there is designing, then there is then there is the energy of engineering, then it is literally written engineering, then there is juggling, then there is energy of knowledge about making some drinks, there is an energy of, that is again cooking, part of cooking, solving the riddles, so problem solving skills, reading books or reciting books, that energy, there is an energy of riddles, solving the riddles. There is an energy of creating. There is an energy of even knowledge about the medicine, or knowledge about the physical body, how it functions. There is that energy where he will also be creating verse, composing verse mentally, which means that also he will be into poetry. And then there is an energy of victory. Then there is an energy of awakening. So all those things, these are the few that I kind of spoke about, because there are some others which are actually translated from Sanskrit to English, and I feel that they've lost their essence. So I would want to get deeper into those, but let's see how will I find it out. But I will definitely get deeper into those. But as much as I understood, these are the few things which are Kalki will be master of. So he will know singing, he will know dancing, he will know arts, he will know music, he will know painting, he will know sketching, he will know swimming, he will be an engineer, he will know problem solving, he will know about the human body, he will know about maybe astronomy, he will know about problem solving, he will be into the poetry, he will know cooking. Yeah, so there is a lot of energy that you can actually sketching. There is a lot of energy that you can connect with the literal person there, as to how these 64 arts connect. And there are not many people who will know 64 arts. So there are very less number of people who will know 64 arts for that matter. And that's how Kalki will be. So Kalki will have that knowledge of 64 arts. And when you move forward, this also talks about Kalki will marry Padma to establish or re-establish Sanatan Dharma, or Kalki will marry Padma and re-establish Sanatan Dharma. Now, when you talk about marriage and Sanatan Dharma, and we know literally by marrying, you're not really re-establishing Sanatan Dharma or any Dharma for that matter, because then you are focused on your family. But here, marriage does not mean literal marriage. When we talk about Padma, we talk about lotus, and it feels like Kalki will be connecting with the energy of lotus or awakening somehow, and from there it will be Sanatan Dharma, or humanity will be re-established. Then it is said that Kalki will conquer the world, and then Kalki will be a big Shiv Bhakt. So he will be a biggest devotee of Lord Shiva. So and that energy of connecting with Shiva is always going to be there. So he'll always have Shiva on his mind, and he will do something that will show you that how connected he is with Shiv. So we know that also. And then Mahadev or Shiva will actually gift him a horse named Devdutt. Now this does not mean that Kalki will be gifted a literal horse and Kalki will be riding a literal horse, but there are some images where I can see somebody holding a horse and walking, that is like flashing in front of my eyes. But here horse means Kalki will have, Shiva will give him determination, majesty, spirit, freedom, valor, nobleness, inner strength and divine force. So Shiva energy or horse energy is basically when you are determined, when you have that majesty in you, when you have that spirit in you, your soul is very enlightened, you know the freedom, you are very noble, and your inner strength, there is a lot of inner strength in you, and there is a lot of divine force in you. So Shiva will give him a horse means that he will have all those qualities in him. With that devotion towards Shiva, he will actually inculcate or kind of create those qualities in himself. Second, there's a sword that will be gifted to him. Now when you talk about the sword means power, protection, authority, strength and courage. And this means that when Kalki will come back as Kalki to the world, he will have the power, he will have the protection, he will have authority, and he will have all the strength and the courage. So courage and strength I think already is there in Kalki, but he will have power, protection and authority when he comes back as Kalki. Now the third thing that Kalki will be given is the parrot called Sukha. Now when the parrot is given to the Kalki, Sukha means happiness, or Sukha means it's the energy when you are comfortable, right? So that energy. Now Sukha, the biggest role that parrot is going to play, now does not mean that Kalki is going to carry a literal parrot. Parrot energy is here the energy of somebody who's a visionary, who knows past, present and future, and who has access to the information. Now the parrot is playing a very important role. As much as I have studied until now, the parrot is playing an important role of introducing Kalki to Padmavati, and introducing introducing Padmavati to Kalki. So parrot has a very important role here, and he plays the role of connecting the two. So the parrot will play a very important role of awakening. So when we talk about parrot, it means that he will have some visionaries, some people around him who will be visionaries, who will have access to past, present and future, or who will know, who will have the visions of him or his life or the situations, and who will narrate or give those situations out to people, who will also help him connect with that energy of awakening and lotus. And that is what the parrot actually means. And it says that people will start changing then slowly within the Kalki consciousness and will become Kalki devotees. So that's a beautiful energy, and that's a beautiful chapter that gives you a lot of insight on Kalki. How will Kalki study means how will Kalki develop, right? So that's the energy there. How will he develop the Kalki consciousness in himself and in others? So I hope that this chapter has helped you understand and get closer to Kalki. And in the next chapter, I'm not going to take the next chapter as is, because in the next video I'm going to skip a few chapters, because I think right now we are not ready for those chapters, and I'm going to go to the chapter next where we'll talk about who is Brahman, and we are also going to talk about how Kalki Sena, like what are the Kalkis, what do Kalki talk about his Sena or people who are connected to him, what qualities and what things that they need to do, and they will have, and they will inculcate in themselves. So we are going to talk about that. That's going to be another interesting thing. And then we have some very, very strong stories and interesting stories coming in, decoding them and knowing the real truth. If this is helping you in any way, and if you find this useful, interesting, please share it with more people, because the more the people know about who Kalki is and what this really means, the more people will be able to connect into that consciousness, and we will be able to bring in that change into the world. So please share it, like it, and leave your feedback. Your feedback is very important. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself. Bye bye. Love you.